Oh, hello there, world. Hope you're all doing well. I'm Sandra, if you don't already know. I just thought I'd come on again after doing the 7 day update, doing the 7 day trial. I kind of thought I'd come in to give you a kind of life update to let you know how I'm getting on after ending the food, what I called the food and fitness trial. Go and have a look at the other videos if you're not quite familiar with that. Um, so since the trial ended, I've been trying to keep up my exercise routine of at least an hour a day. And for the most part, I've been successful in doing that, although it hasn't always been in the morning. Sometimes it's in the evening, but I do prefer to exercise in the morning. So I've been able to do that. I've been able to incorporate different kinds of exercises. I think yesterday I walked. The day before I cycled. Oh yeah, I got my bike back working again. I went to the shop and they fixed the tire, so I was able to do some cycling. But I did find that I was really quite tired the day before that when I did the cycling, which is not usual for me. I'm usually quite good with the cycling. And when I kind of looked back on what might have been causing that fatigue, I realized that one of the things is my fluid intake. Since I finished the challenge, that particular day, my fluid intake was actually quite low. I hadn't drank the usual 1.5. I hadn't been drinking consistently throughout the day, should I say. So at the end of the day, I think I'd only drank 2 or 3 glasses, which is not usual for me. I'm usually drinking all the time. So it might have been the fact that I was not as hydrated as I was not ideally hydrated. That might have led to the fact of me being a bit fatigued. Anyhow, so just some updates on the challenge, and I don't think I'd been consistent. I've got the Irish wash, and I have actually been consistently taking the Irish moss, but it is full of fiber. If anybody doesn't know, it's a seaweed, chondrus species, and so it does require you to keep your fluid intake up. So I thought I'd talk to you a little bit about Irish moss because that is something I implemented into my diet um, by going through the challenge. Mainly because I must confess, when I was on the internet, I saw somebody on YouTube. I can't remember the link, but it was one of those shorts, and she was she was eating it and like a tablespoon a day, and reported to have had good weight loss from using that in her diet. I don't know how true that is, but I do know that from seeing that, I thought, let me see if I can give that a try. And that was the first time I thought of using Irish moss as well, combining it with other things, because I have tried Irish moss before previously and I just have not liked it. I've not liked the texture, and I also have not liked the taste. So this time I've really tried, and it has been a bit better. So let me go in and talk to you a little bit about what Irish moss is. It's actually a seaweed, yeah, and so it's part of the red algae um, series, and it's been about for many years. It's quite centuries, should we say. It's been used by many generations, and that's what it looks in it. That's when it's dried, it's quite red looking. It's quite a deep color looking, and I just included a picture to give you an indication in its dried form. And you only really need a little bit of it because it does swell up so much once you've added water. But because it is a seaweed and it has been in the sea, it does I find you do need to give it wash it quite a few times and leave it to soak. And I believe the reason why I hadn't enjoyed it in the past is because I probably was just using it, just cooking it straight as it is without really giving it the thorough washing that is really required in order to get rid of all of the debris and any kind of thing, any kind of dirt or anything that exists on it as well. It is a highly nutritious plant according to a number of studies, which I will link to you. I will leave links so you can have a read of it by yourself. But because it does come from the sea, one study that I read did suggest that it can be subject to contaminants such as heavy metals and also minerals. So that's something to be aware of, just as fish is as well, in our seas. So just be aware of that. But if you give it a good wash and as much as you can, that would be quite helpful. Now I'll just give you I'll just let you look once you've washed it. I mean, for me, I tend to do this over a couple of days. I don't do it straight away. I like to let it soak. I like to let it soak and wash and soak, and once I've washed it, I put it into like a container, like the glass jar, and it does tend to become a bit translucent. So I leave it to soak in the glass jar for a couple of days, and wash it and put it back. So once I've finished, depending on the make of Irish moss you've bought, or where it's from, it can come out looking like this. Now this one came out looking really nice and fluffy and translucent, and that particular one I bought was from the Caribbean. That one was from Trinidad and Tobago, and I did notice the quality in that one. It just seemed to look so much better after it had been washed and soaked and everything. It just really looked, like it was living food. And yeah, so once I've done that and I've got that into a state what's really nice, then I decide, which I'm happy with, which for me takes a couple of days. For you, it might take less, but for me, it takes a couple of days, or I just leave it to soak until I'm ready to use it. Once it's clean, I go on to the next stage, which for me is combining the the Irish moss with fruit. So I don't cook the Irish moss. Some people cook it. I know traditionally, I'm from a Caribbean background, and I know in Jamaica, if they're doing Irish moss, they tend to cook it and add milk to it and make it into a kind of a drink like that. But I don't really like, and then I don't really like that kind of Irish moss drink. It's horses for courses. That's just not the way I enjoy it. What I like to do is I like to combine it with fruit. So on the first day I did it, I combined it with watermelon. I took out the pieces, and then I made it with the Irish moss, and then I made something that I decided to call fruit moss. But the second time I did it, I combined it with raspberries. So it's really up to you what you decide to combine it with, to get that kind of, that food source that you can take quite easily. I take it as a spoonful in the morning each day. So let me just show you what it looks like. So the final product is the one that I'll show you, which once I've combined it in my my mixer, not advertising, but I've combined it in my mixer, the final product I end up with is the fruit moss. Now this one here was done, that was the one I combined with the raspberry that I did the other day. It came out a little bit thicker actually, but it was a different Irish moss that I used. And then the one previously I did was the one I did with watermelon. Sorry, I did that one with watermelon. And I'm trying to get the, yeah, this one was done with watermelon, and it doesn't have such a thick consistency. I actually prefer the one I did with watermelon. That was the first one I did, but you know, it could be the fact that I used a different Irish moss. That Irish moss I used was from the Caribbean. I don't know whether this other one, this Irish moss that I combined with raspberry, I don't believe it was from the Caribbean, but it was a good price. It was a good price, and I hadn't been able to find the other one again. But I'm still able to take a spoonful a day, no problem with that. It does not have that fishy kind of smell, or not fishy, the sea type of smell, and it doesn't feel slimy, and that I didn't really like the sliminess before. However, I have done a video of showing you how I made it with the mixer, which I will link to, so you can have a look to see how I actually made it from the wet stage. Yeah, it won't show you the soaking stage, but that's something, you know, you can do, but it'll just show you how I made it if you're interested. So yeah, that's it for today. It is something that I am finding quite beneficial using in my diet. When I was looking at the research, it did say that it is good. It is good for coughs and chests and bronchus and things like that. It has traditionally been used for things like that, and I found that previously, you know, at the beginning of August, at the beginning of about a month ago, I had a very bad cough, and I was kind of getting over that cough, and now I feel really good. I can't, you know, that was making me feel really. I wasn't sure that would ever go, but I found that. I stumbled on the Irish moss, and I found that that's something that it's been traditionally used for, to clearing kind of chest infections and things like that, historically. But as I said, I'll link you to 2 papers that will tell you about how it's been used throughout the ages, should we say, and it is something hopefully I will continue to use going forward. That when you start looking into the Irish moss, you will see that there is a wide range of prices. Yeah, try and get it locally if you can. I found that is the most cost-effective way of me buying the product. Internet, the prices are quite, you know, quite high, especially if you buy it in the gel form already made. But if you get it in the dried form, I've seen prices. I'm in the UK, in England, I've seen prices ranging from £1.99 to £10. So there's a quite range, even more, should I say, quite range of difference. So have a look around and you know, see what's best for you and what's best for your pocket, and also what's best, because although the one that I bought recently was less, it was a lot less. I can see that the quality was just not as good, should we say, so as the one that I previously bought, but I just haven't been able to find that. So once I find that make again, I will look to see if I can get that one, because I found that was a better, it did feel like such a better quality Irish moss. But anyway, I'll keep going with this. I'll let you know how I get on. Great, I'm glad that you're still tuning in, and hopefully we'll catch up and I'll tell you about other things that I'm using and doing in terms of my health, physical health, mental health, and also nutritional health. Okay, all the best and have a great day. Bye. Hi, it's me again. Just an important reminder to let you know, anytime you're starting or using any foods for the first time, just to check for any allergic reactions or any allergens that you might have, and also seek medical advice or from your doctor if you need to, before starting any new regime, health or wellness regime, if you have any pre-existing medical conditions. Yeah, please take time to have a look at the important notice, and I'll see you again. All the best. Bye-bye.